Jem is my name, no one else is the same. Jem is my name. Jem.
A lot of people almost die several times in this episode. That's the Jem and the Hologram spirit I like to see. So, my upstairs neighbor has a lot of plants on her balcony. When she waters them, the excess water drains through the bottom of the pot she has her plants in and dribbles over the balcony and lands on my patio. So oftentimes it sounds like it's raining, and it's not. It's just plant water runoff from the balcony above mine. So Jem and the Holograms are touring across the country on a train. That's fun. So they're doing a tour from California to the other side of the country and hitting a bunch of stops along the way and having a concert at each stop and collecting money to fund the Starlight Foundation. So good times had by all. And they sing I'm on a train, I'm taking a train is the name of the song. And while I wasn't totally blown away by the song, it's a fine song, what I really admired was they did a really nice job incorporating the musical soundscape and the lyrics and melody into train noises. So the a lot of the instrumentals are mimicking kind of a chugga 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 kind of a sound. The train whistle harmonizes with Jem's posts on different notes. It's the mix isn't. I would have brought that stuff forward in the mix a little bit more, but it's there if you're listening for it, and I thought it was really nicely done.
Taking a train, taking a train, taking a train.
Of course, Lindsay is saying, hey, the Holograms are on this charity tour on a train across the country, and the Misfits are lounging around watching TV, and they're like, well, that won't do. People are paying attention to the Holograms again. We'll see about that. So, they're on their train heading to Rock City, Arizona, which I don't think that's a real place. I lived there for years, but I don't remember a Rock City, if I'm remembering the name from the show right, but Rock Canyon? It's something like that. I'm like, I don't think that's a place. I think we've actually got a Rock Canyon here in California, but I don't know that there's one in Arizona. That's not important at all. What is important is the Misfits hire some dude to pilot a prop plane and buzz the train and then throw flyers all over the place for a concert that they're throwing. I don't know what good that's going to do because all those flyers are just going to kind of land out in the middle of nowhere and do no one any good. So Rio comes out onto the ass end of the train, the caboose, and it's like, what are they doing buzzing a train? It's like, dude, Rio, in like the JEM episode not too long ago, you buzzed another plane, so pot calling the kettle black, buddy. Anyway, the plane with the Misfits stalls out and crashes. Luckily, they don't die. And the Holograms are like, I guess we better stop the train and see if they're okay. So they pull the emergency brake, they stop the train, they get out, and all the Misfits and the pilot survive, no worse for wear. And they're like, you are a bad pilot. And he goes, yeah, well, you're walking, ain't you? What about my plane? It's going to take a week to fix this. I'm looking at the crumpled fuselage of this place. I'm like, oh, dude. Oh, dude, no. No, that's totaled. That ain't being fixed in a week. That's buy a new plane. Your plane is dead. I'm sorry. So the Holograms begrudgingly give the Misfits a lift. So they're sitting in the dining car and they cause a food fight because they're the Misfits. And So Rio locks him in a different car. And Jet is like, ooh, we could crawl out on the roof. So they crawl out onto the roof right before the train goes through a tunnel. And they're like, oh no, we're going to die. Stormer says, jump for it. So they jump off the train into, luckily, a nearby body of water. And the train goes through the tunnel. It looks like there would have actually been room for them to comfortably pass through the tunnel while sitting on the roof of the train. I don't think they had to lay flat or anything. It seemed to be plenty of room. But nevertheless, they jump out into a body of water. And they wander through the desert a bit, and they find a few people on horses, and they're like, hey, if you give us a ride into town, we'll give you autographs. And please don't leave us stranded in the middle of the desert. And so the nice peoples give them rides on their horses. And we reprise the It Takes a Lot to Survive song from Island of Deception in the first season. Nice song. And I thought it was just a one-off joke, but apparently it's a thing that big cats don't like Stormer. Because in the, was it the Music is Magic episode? Yeah, Music is Magic episode. Stormer's attacked by a big cat. And during the It Takes a Lot to Survive music video, they're riding along on their horsies, and suddenly, giant cat in the tree is like, I see you there, Stormer, and jumps at her. And she's like, oh god, giant cat gonna kill me. And she swivels around so she's hanging on to the underside of the horse while the cat goes, misses her. So she's hanging on to the underside of a horse. And then we have another line of the song, and we have it pans out, and the line of horses goes past, and then Stormer's horse trots past, and she's still on the underside of it. And the cat is still following along behind her. I don't know why giant cats don't like Stormer so much. What did you do? Maybe it's just animals in general, because she got attacked by a herd of javelina in the Island of Deception episode also. I think because she picked their flowers. You don't pick javelina's flowers, Stormer. They get really pissy about that. Yeah, so I maybe it's just Stormer and animals don't mix. I'm trying to remember the Aztec Adventure episode. There's a giant cat that menaces them in that episode too. I don't know that it goes specifically after Stormer though. I think it just attacks the girls in general. Same with snakes. So where was I? Oh, okay. So they the horsey people they get them to the train. The Misfits, because of the Misfits, renege on their promise to give them autographs. Oh my god, it is hot in here. I'm melting. And get back on the train. Meanwhile, a thief has snuck onto the train, posing as a security guard, guarding the lockbox of money containing all the charity proceeds from the charity concerts that they're doing on the train as it moves across the country. So they're stopped at the next town, and the caboose is set up with a stage, and Rio says, hey, Ashley, help me with the equipment, and Ashley goes, I don't want it, and she wanders off. And then the Misfits wander in and sabotage all the equipment, and Stormer feels bad about it, but she does it anyway, because peer pressure. And so the Holograms try to put on their performance, because, Rio says, Ashley ditched me, that jerk. So I guess I'll do it myself! And they try to hold a concert, but the microphone falls apart, and the drumsticks fall apart, and all the keys on Kimber's keyboard are stuck. So they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have to postpone the concert." Kimber says,
I'll tell the crowd to hold their horses.
"No, Kimber, don't tell them that. Don't tell them that." So the Misfits wander over to the front of the... Rio goes to town and gets goes to a music store in town, gets replacement parts, and they reset up the concert. And the Misfits are like, oh man, I thought that would have ruined him for good. So they go to the front of the train and they take off the brake, and the train starts rolling away from the makeshift platform that's on the caboose, the stage set, which Rio's standing on, which without the support of the caboose of the train just falls apart with him on it. He's okay. But now we've got a runaway train, because the Misfits don't know what they're doing. Jetta gets her foot stuck in the brake, and they can't get her out. The thief is on there, and he accidentally falls in. The holograms are on the train, too. So we've got the holograms and the Misfits on a runaway train, along with the thief, who accidentally destroyed the cable for the emergency brake. So Rio steals a convenient nearby motorcycle. That's for the greater good, I guess. And chases after the train, jumps on the train from the motorbike, which now, was crashed out in the middle of the desert, so we feel kind of bad for whoever's damn bike that is. But he gets on the train, gets in, and it's like, hey, did you pull the emergency brake? It's not working! Alright, well, we're going to have to get to the front of the train. So they go, but the door's locked, and Rio's like, okay, just going to climb over the top. Oh, be safe, Rio. He climbs over the top, and the handle breaks off. He nearly falls off, but then he says, let me try again, and he does. And he makes it, and he gets to the front of the train, and the thief had actually helped pull Jetta's foot out of her boot, and then her boot out of the levers that it was stuck in. So that was nice of the thief. So Rio comes in. He's like, what are you doing with that brake handle, which had broken off of the control console? He goes, it broke. He says, give me that. And he pops open the control panel and futzes with it, so he stops the train. And then he's like, hey, Mr. Thief, what you doing with the locked box of cash? He's like, nothing. Just gonna go put it back in the safe. And I'm going to leave the train to avoid the crowds. And Rio is like, wow. But anyway, the police catch him, so it's no big deal. And Rio takes the lockbox back, and there's one thing when the holograms misfit, the holograms equipment is sabotaged. Rio's like, oh, that Ashley, she just didn't want to do any work, and Jerica's like, Ashley wouldn't do that. Yeah, Rio. I mean, did you forget that the Misfits are on the train and they totally would do that? Rio. So, it wasn't Ashley. JEM or Jerica, whatever persona she's in at the time, tracks down Ashley. She didn't do it. Of course she didn't. She just, skirted her responsibilities. Although, there's a bunch of the Starlight kids on there. I don't know why Ashley is the only one who has a job. I don't know if any of the other kids are saddled with responsibilities or if Ashley just drew the short straw. So the train is stopped, everyone is saved, the money is recovered, and the Misfits fess up. Actually, Stormer fesses up. She goes, we're sorry, we're trying to play a joke and it got too far. And they're like, shut up, Stormer. And so I guess the Misfits have to carry the holograms' luggage now, is the penance they must pay. Well, whatever concert they were advertising via the flyers dropped from the plane that crashed earlier in the episode, they probably missed that. Also, the pilot of that plane, did they just leave him to die in the desert? It's like, no, I'll stay here and fix my plane. Alright, dude. Alright.
There! Oh, it was supposed to be a joke. Stormer? What kind of a joke? We just wanted to mess up your concert at Mesaville.